Listen up and clean your ears out, because these boys are here.
It's the new movie starring Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford.
Tim Curry in there too?
Tim Curry is not in this movie, although he will be
Take three?
He will be making a cameo appearance as the main villain of
Blade Runner 2017.
Blade Runner 2017.
Yes.
Robert Scrunt.
Oh!
So this is 2017, a new year. We had to take, what was it, a 4-week break?
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Because family obligations and because there was no rider for, there was rider and then there hasn't been a rider this week. Last week, that is. We're getting it this week.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I hope everyone's had a good year. And let's, we can do better. So,
start a new 2017.
We can, well, there's only one 2017.
A new 2017, a better 2017.
We're ending this one tomorrow. We're just
this one's done. It's
already.
I didn't like it so far.
Already
reboot
2017. Kill literally everyone and start over. We're going to my new headcanon world.
Oh yeah, taking a trip.
Taking a trip to the new headcanon world.
Am I taking a trip to your twisted mind?
You're taking a trip to these fingerless gloves if you don't shut the fuck up. Get a taste of these trip pants in your face. So we're just gonna get right off the bat with some. We don't really have that much news. The only thing we have to talk about, and it's also going to kind of be our topic for today. We have 2 episodes to talk about that we have not covered in the past time. But the first thing is that we've received some interesting news regarding Q Ranger. It is, according to people from Bandai of America, it is the first series that Bandai of America has had a direct involvement in that they helped contribute to and help decide what the theme would be and kind of the designs and whatnot, and kind of the overall premise of the franchise. I've read about how Bandai of America had a minor influence before in that Bandai of Japan would make shows with American audiences in mind, more so that they just made sure not to do anything too out there. And that kind of stopped after RPM because it was under the assumption that Power Rangers was done, which is why you got stuff like Samurai, which was more Japanese. But never before has Bandai of America played that much of an influence in a Japanese IP. So, what do you think about that?
In what aspect are they? All aspects, or just like
we don't know the full story. We just know they probably chose because one of the guys who they interviewed about it, he said that he referred to Captain America and that Captain America started out wearing spandex and tights, and that now he's graduated to wearing more tactical gear. And I think that's partially why in the new season, they have a slightly more tactical look. A couple of the Rangers have full-on armor as opposed to spandex. And they straight up said, like, they're competing, quote-unquote, competing with Marvel and competing with Star Wars, which was also part of the reason why they chose space as a theme. So they're just realizing that Power Rangers and Sentai as a franchise is a global sort of thing now, so they're keeping that in mind. And that's why Bandai of America was allowed to have a sway in its development. So, do you think that's... I guess what I'm saying is, do you think it's going to get bigger and more prominent influence as time goes on?
Sentai itself? Or
Sentai's involvement, American involvement in Sentai?
It makes sense, because Power Rangers makes most of the money on the...
on the Western side?
Yeah. Every side that's not Japanese.
Sniffy boy.
It could be interesting. I'll definitely wait to see what occurs, from this, but I don't see any problem with it so far.
Sure.
I feel like they know Western tastes more, and if they're trying to have their property be more successful outside of Japan, it makes sense for them to be like, hey, we know that you guys like doing your stuff your way. How about we show you that like a different way maybe? So
exactly. Someone I was reading some kind of conversations about it, and someone I know, an acquaintance of mine, pointed out something pretty relevant, is that Zyuohger, the newest season, has not done well.
Yeah.
And the Sentai's ratings have been going down less and less each year, and it's at the point that they're doing worse than Go Busters, which Go Busters was like
really
the bottom line for a while. Go Busters was that's why Go Busters. That's why we haven't gotten anything like Go Busters in more recent years. Is because they wanted to do everything that was not like Go Busters out of fear of the shows. We're doing worse than Go Busters now. Like they've all been doing consistently worse. Yeah. Sales have been doing worse. Like Zyuohger has been one of the more recent seasons where they haven't done all of the gadget collectibles. It's just been cubes. So and it did not do well. And Ninja didn't do. Ninja did better, but it didn't do too hot either. The sales have been going worse and worse, and it might be worth considering that this is sort of a not desperation tactic by Bandai, but Bandai realizing that they need to get their shit together and start changing things for the sake of their franchise's lifespan. Because whether they like to admit it or not, Sentai is doing worse every year, and to an extent, Rider is doing pretty worse every year too. Drive didn't do very well.
I felt like Sentai was on a stride leading up to Gokaiger, and then everything after Gokaiger was like not a spiral downward, but just a slump,
a decline.
Because it was like leading up to something, and that was a big thing.
Kind of blew their load, and
not even that, but it's kind of hard to follow up when you do something that.
And you think that them kind of doing something as big as Gokaiger kind of led audiences to
because
not bother?
Gokaiger attracted worldwide attention.
Sure,
because of. People that don't know Sentai at all would watch that just to see, what it was.
Taste.
Because it had everything in it.
Everything that had even Western appeal.
Yep.
Because it had franchises.
It had everything in it.
And you think that because it was such a big bang that people didn't bother to follow up with the other seasons?
Yeah, because they went back to business as usual after.
Sure.
And that's fine, but people that jumped in for Gokaiger didn't watch the ones prior to Gokaiger either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They saw the big stuff and then
they were like, okay, show's over.
We're going back to normal. And that's how I feel kind of personally sometimes. I watched a few seasons here and there, but I felt like, we had a really cool thing, and then now we're going back to business as usual and not really trying to change it up at all. And it was already not necessarily stale, but it's a tired, at this point. They've been doing it for so long. So
there's obviously a groove that's kind of cutting too deep.
Yeah.
In as far as
well, just even that they're repeating the same themes over.
And it's a given that kind of some of the stuff is going to
They did ninjas again. They did
and Key Ranger is recycling a theme too, but it's doing it in a way that's relatively fresh.
Yeah.
So because they've done space themed seasons, but not as intensely cosmic as Key Ranger is.
But just this era in general has not been so much. This era in general, just post Gokaiger, has been mostly retreaded.
You're right.
Doing the same stuff again. So
Go Busters was the freshest thing.
And all the other stuff was like we did this before, but here's like a little bit of a twist on it. But we already did it before. So
do you think that this could be Bandai's attempt at steering back into possible success? Do you think this might be?
I think this is a good idea.
But not necessarily where you think it's a good idea. But do you think that this is Bandai's attempt at steering themselves out of its possible end? Because that's what somebody said to me. Is they said that this is like Sentai's last chance. Like they think this is Sentai like trying to clutch back to the top because their franchise has been slowly stagnating and declining in sales. Do you think it's that bad, or do you think it's just kind of?
I don't know if it's that bad yet. Okay.
I
can't attest to that.
I've seen several people. I've seen several people kind of saying.
Like
that.
I said, I'm also the type of person I'm okay with that.
Sure.
It's been going on for so long already. You're
kind of okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Just going a good end.
Okay.
Fine. Definitely, this is a good idea. If Sentai ended, what would they do with Power Rangers?
What if Q Ranger ends up being the final season, and that's why this is getting such a big? Probably not, because they wouldn't have mentioned that it was getting this much American input to begin with. But that'd be wouldn't be that surprising considering the scale of the season and with all the many Rangers. Kind of turns out it's the last one. Unlikely. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Just that if they ended Sentai, what would they do with Power Rangers? Because I feel like
nothing. Bandai, Saban is too lazy to make their own IPs, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Toei would not be okay with... Because remember, they tried doing a TV show. Disney tried doing a Power Rangers TV show, and Toei was, not having it. So unless Saban was willing to fund their own... I'm assuming animated show, they wouldn't ever... I don't think they would ever do their own homebrew Sentai live-action show. It would stop. I think they would...
Production costs.
Maybe they would try to go on to another IP, like Rider.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
If the Sentai ended,
because Rider could be seen by many as a logical conclusion of Sentai, and that Rider the suit quality tends to be a bit more bulky and kind of armor-esque as opposed to Sentai, where it's clearly just spandex. I'm trying to think what to say without necessarily just giving my thoughts on the series itself. It looks appealing. It's definitely something that I'm more into.
Yeah.
I've always liked more Sentai characters. I've always liked more Rangers than I like. That's why I wasn't that into the past seasons. It's just kind of like I liked Kyoto Uger because there was so many Rangers. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea of it because Sentai meaning squadron.
Yeah.
I think it should be a squadron. I think there should be like a big old fuck ton of them.
Yeah.
And so maybe that comes at the cost of quality, quantity over quality. But I don't know.
I think you have enough time. You have a lot of episodes in that year, and I feel like a lot of them are wasted on. They're usually wasted on nothing. A lot of the time, sometimes there's a lot of filler and a lot of characters.
And I feel like that's just the nature of Sentai.
Yeah.
In that Sentai is geared towards a slightly younger audience. So I think that's the nature of Sentai is that there's always going to be filler. Go Busters.
There's every Sentai season. There's always like three characters that they got some good stuff, and then there's always two that you're like, who are these people?
Yeah.
You're at the end of the season, you're like, what are they?
You have no reason to care about them.
What do they do? What do they do? So that's not every season, obviously, but just a lot of the time I see that.
So I guess that's kind of all we have to say about that. It's definitely going to be interesting.
Just that, not necessarily everything. I think maybe they also jumped into it because Bandai America maybe wants to have their hands more in the toy aspect as well.
Oh yeah,
they've been hammering
because you've seen how they've because for those who are familiar with the new Ninja Steel toys, they aren't selling the mechas on their own anymore.
Yeah.
They're selling them with an entire Zord on its own. And I have no idea. I have no idea why parents would be willing to spend that much money on that stuff.
But they're not collecting it because the American market is not into collecting the stuff as much as the Japanese.
Oh, sure, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. But you can tell that's kind of Bandai of America kind of having to make do with what they can do, and them coming to Japan and saying, "Hey, considering we make a huge amount of revenue, would you consider changing the way toys are done so that it's convenient for both Japanese and American audiences?"
Yeah.
So I get that, but
they've just been. I feel like they've been listening to. They're trying to make things that are equal on both terms because they used to make figure arts, right? Figure arts were heavily, detailed, all that stuff. Really great stuff, but not selling here because of the price point. They went ahead and made their own line. But they took in aspects of figure arts into their own Power Rangers line or whatever. Sure. And I feel like right now we're having a merger of the two sides in the way they think. Bandai of America started making heavily detailed robots and stuff and detailed collector-style stuff because of
the Legacy collections.
Yes, specifically because they saw people have such a thirst for that and would buy the figure arts and stuff or whatever Bandai would put out.
Sure.
And, every time their toys were mentioned, they'd be like, "Oh, these are great." If you don't want the real good stuff,
sure,
that's always mentioned. So I feel like right now we're having a both sides, just like trying to work with each other more to have their both franchises grow more or succeed.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, business-wise, that makes sense.
Business-wise, it makes sense for them to kind of try to think more like I wouldn't mind that because if that meant Bandai of America taking
it's basically making both feet work together. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Before they were just doing
two separate hands on the steering wheel.
Before they were just doing whatever the hell each other was doing, and they didn't care what the other one did.
It's that would be cool for me. In what it could be good and bad because on one end it could mean that the Bandai of America toys become higher quality and are more like the Japanese ones, which are just better. On the other end, it could be the opposite, where Bandai of Japan toys end up going down in quality.
That is possible
to compensate
because in Ninja they did do those American style figures that were
that was weird.
Straight up
just molds from the American side. Yeah. That's very strange.
They are talking. You could tell that they are talking, and they did that because cost wise. Because why are we making two different figures?
When you could share the same mold.
We could share the same mold.
And just package them differently. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Definitely, I feel like
and obviously the movies presence. I think Bandai Toei is beginning to realize we may not be the ones calling the shots once this movie comes out, and they're the ones making more money than us.
That's what they're probably doing. They're preparing just in case this movie does really well, and they have to follow it up.
Start letting Saban kind of
they can't do the same stuff anymore once they have that new crowd come in because now they're like this is the first thing they see. There's gonna be a lot of kids that this is the first Power Rangers thing they see, and then they're gonna go to the show and they want to follow it up well.
Sure.
And it might not match up to their expectations of the movie.
Okay, that's true. It'll be very interesting to see at the very least. Some other news is Turbo Ranger's getting an American release. And, I know you're very happy.
You mean
about that.
Car Ranger?
Car Ranger, yeah, I get them mixed up. Car Ranger's getting an American release.
Car Ranger's so good. I'm excited. Buy Car Ranger. Support Car Ranger.
Yeah, if you want to see more of that stuff in America, definitely support the release. Buy it if you can.
If you think regular Toku is silly, watch Car Ranger. So go ahead.
Car Ranger is I just called it Tar Ranger.
Tar Ranger.
But they're just covered in muck. Love that gump. Okay. So we got 2 episodes that aired in the time that we were absent. So we're just going to be. How do you want to tackle this? Do you want to review them collectively, or would you rather review them bit by bit?
Collectively, you got to do collectively
because we watched them all. Like he watched them like, all in tandem. So like it might not be able to kind of separate them piece by piece. So first, we're going to start with episode 11. The episode begins with Dan Kuroto nearly being done designing a super powerful shot, but remarks on the need for one more type of data, human death. Meanwhile, with Emu's internship almost over, he sees a child off named Shuhei who was brought in for a broken leg. The miserly boy comments on his distaste for Christmas before suddenly exhibiting the bugster infection. The virus bypasses its meatball stage and reveals itself to be none other than Salty, the first bugster Emu fought. Before he can dispatch the bugster again, Kamen Rider Genom appears and forces X-Aid to use Dragonite Hunter Zed by himself. X-Aid is unable to control its power and crashes into a building, allowing the two foes to escape. Kiryu visits his enemy, Dan, and suggests to the CEO that Emu received the compatibility surgery as a child. The other riders appear, and Dan assigns them the task of defeating Genom and acquiring the 10th Gashat, Shakariki Sports. Knowing the task to be part of Dan's scheme, Kiryu investigates Emu's past further and learns of the handheld gaming device the doctor had given him, the boy, post-surgery. Emu attempts to do the same and buys a cake for Shuhei, but to no avail. Emu is called by Dan, who urgently tells the intern to move Shuhei to safety. The reason Dan reveals is that the bugster virus may have been engineered by the health ministry themselves. Emu agrees and brings Shuhei to a was it basketball court or skating? I think it was both. where they're immediately attacked by Genom. Genom lies to X-Aid as they fight, suggesting that the entire epidemic was engineered by Kyotaro himself. Before Genom can deliver a killing blow, Kiryu comes to the rescue and urges X-Aid to trust in his own heart. Hiro and Taiga appear as well, and the 4 riders utilize the Dragonite Hunter Zed Gashat to defeat Genom. Pushed to his limit, Genom uses his unfinished Gashat to charge up an attack and kill Shuhei. X-Aid attacks Genom to defend the boy, causing the Dark Rider's HP to completely deplete. Using his own death energy from his game over, Genom completes the powerful Gashat, Dangerous Zombie. With no reason to hide anymore, Genom reveals his identity as Dan Kuroto. Mocking the riders, he boasts of his goal to create the ultimate game before escaping. The badly wounded Dan, somehow still alive, comes to Pallid, and the two revel in what they call a new game about to start. So that was episode 1. We're just going to kind of go right into episode 12. Having realized that Kiryu had been telling the truth about Genom and Dan Kuroto, Emu resolves to trust him. Meanwhile, the Ministry continues investigating the disappearance of the Genom CEO and what action to take against them. At a secret prison, Kiryu meets Dan's father and questions him. Emu investigates Shuhei's and learns that his parents are patissiers and are extra busy in Christmas time, causing the boy to feel lonely. The bugster attacks Shuhei's mother, but X-Aid and Brave intervene, defeating Salty with Christmas power. The viewers learn that Shuhei had been making a Christmas wreath for his parents while climbing a tree, but had fallen while making it. Upset and unable to reach his secret gift for them, Shuhei grew to hate Christmas for causing his parents' absence. His mother presents him with a cake made just for him, and Shuhei's Christmas spirit is restored. At their victory celebration, Emu observes the bugster's strange behavior, noting how it's separated from its host before manifesting in meatball form. Hiro theorizes that the bugsters are mutating, causing prior viruses to return stronger. Kiryu calls Emu, Hiro, and Taiga, reporting them to have urgent news. Taiga encounters a mysterious woman named Nico Saiga, who asks the rogue doctor to defeat Emu. Dan Kuroto finds Kiryu first and offers the dangerous zombie Gashat to Kiryu in exchange for keeping his secret about Emu's potential... keeping it secret. Kiryu takes the Gashat and chooses to punish Dan anyway. He attempts to use the new Gashat, only for it to gravely wound him. Dan reclaims the Gashat and uses it with a modified bug visor turned into a belt to transform into Kamen Rider Genom level 10. With his power maximized and seemingly impervious to all attacks, Laser is easily defeated and his rider gauge depleted. The other 3 riders arrive as Genom flees, but it's too late. Unable to tell the doctors of what he learned, Kiryu entrusts Emu with his gamer driver and fades away. And those are the 2 episodes. What did you think?
Really good 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Other than the weird tonal shift in the second one.
Where the Christmas stuff happens and then immediately just carnage.
Yeah, let's murder somebody. Good. I like I like the direction we're going in. Finally,
you can kind of finally everything's starting to. You're getting to the gunk in the center of this.
Yeah,
this,
getting that
Kinder
good
egg.
gunk. I felt like for some reason we weren't gonna get that reveal till later on. But we got it right now, and it was good to have it right now because we needed something to fucking make us care.
You needed something to kind of catalyze the story.
Yeah,
catalyst to kind of.
It was like a jolt. It was like
the jolt, the little match to the flames.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, we're hitting that kind of moment where the same sort of thing that happened with Gaim, where it's finally that moment where you just kind of realize the finality of the situation.
Yeah.
The stakes that are at play.
Yeah.
Before
it was all just fun and games, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was all fun and games.
Yeah, you were a big fan of his dangerous zombie form.
Oh, I loved it.
It's very cool looking.
These are the best belt design. Like just besides his fucking bike form, I love his fucking rider form. I like his fucking zombie form. I like the sounds on everything he makes. It's all fucking perfect. It hasn't been this good in a long
What do you think?
time. Maybe Skull.
Skull, so like 2009.
Yeah, it's been a while. Just like not even Skull. Like I like the Eternal.
Sure. But that kind of era.
That
period.
I'm trying to think. Maybe there might have been a more recent one. I'm trying to think of all the writers since then. That just hit me on all, you know,
like all the levels.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like the texture of the
like
suit.
Everything, everything on point. Like there isn't like so far this form and his initial form. His initial form was good, but it was obviously just a palette swap. This second form,
this established cements it as its own thing.
Yes, and definitely has really jumped to the ranks of like one of my favorite stuff.
I need that. I wanted the bug visor to begin with, but knowing it becomes a belt, like
I know
they're selling it as a set, which is good.
And it looks so good.
Yeah, so I liked it when he first transformed and he started doing like the shuffling. That was a really nice touch. I mean, that dude's fucking dead. He's probably like an actual zombie or something at that point. So that's a very interesting kind of.
That's an interesting thing.
So like, what is he dead? Is he part bugster? What's the deal? Like, how is he still alive? So, and from what you can tell, he's impervious to his attacks and whatever, which I'm assuming is going to be
nullified somehow.
Well, it's going to be nullified by the new Gashat that X8 is getting, the mighty Double X Brothers Gashat that he's getting, which looks pretty cool too.
That looks cool too.
So, did you see that coming? Because I think you said you saw it coming, but I don't know if you meant by the beginning of the episode or what.
What do you mean coming?
Kidia's death.
Oh, I didn't know. I was just under the assumption of. You had said something.
I kept hyping it up. Like I said,
if you had not said that, I wouldn't expect it.
Okay, I ruined it. Oh well.
Not really. I mean,
you probably would have known by the beginning of the episode, maybe.
I like him. But he wasn't. I just like the way he looked, to be honest.
Sure.
And I
liked him. He was a funny boy.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool, but you didn't really know much about him, and I didn't really care much about him otherwise.
I didn't expect them to tie up his story plot so quickly.
That just aesthetic. Like I don't know. Honestly, if he had a better rider for him, I would have cared more. if he had a cooler rider suit,
I know you're dead. Gotta get some better toys, man. I can't give
Serious? I'm not fucking playing. If he had a cooler, I would have cared about him more, and that's why I didn't care.
I was kind of wondering, like, they came out with his own weapon just to like, and then they kill him off. Like, I was surprised with how quickly they killed him off because he had his own. It'd be one thing if it turns out he ends up getting like a trooper form, like Kurokage does in Gaim. Spoilers. If that'd be one thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if, of course, when he uses the Gashat, it materializes a motorcycle, because that boy's still got to ride around. He's still got to go somewhere. But like, no, like it was kind of out of the left field with him dying, because they made him his own rider and everything, no signs of him being a generic trooper rider.
Yeah.
So seeing him killed off, and after they introduced his own weapons and everything, which are like,
he just got his own form. Like
he just got his own weapons and everything. So, and it's cool that Genom gets to keep using them. I wish they recolored them. I wish they recolored them to be like black and white, because that would actually
it would look cool.
It would look pretty cool. So I'm hoping they do that at some point. But it looks like he's sticking with the color scheme.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense, but it look cool.
It would make perfect sense. I mean, it's not really, the weapons weren't really samurai-esque to begin with.
No,
they weren't very samurai-esque to begin with, and he's got the bow form, which is pretty cool. And that boy needs a weapon. I would like to see him with a weapon aside from just.
I like that he doesn't have a weapon so far.
I like it either way.
I just want to see.
I just like the little touches, like how all riders have that gem. Like he doesn't have a gem.
Yeah,
and it's gone.
I like how
the broken HP bar.
I like how it's I looked at his eyes and I thought it was like, oh, they just painted one. No, it's a visor and there's
It's
eyes.
cracked.
It's cracked.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And the little tiny chip of it on the side.
God, that is so cool. I was like, at first I was like, why is it two colors?
I guess there's something very intimidating about that notion. Like, there's an episode of Teen Titans when like, you remember that where Cyborg has like a meter representing his like how far he can go without shutting down.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with like he keeps continuously dealing with that, and then at the end of the episode he completely breaks the meter. Like, that is so fucking cool. And the same thing with Genem, how they hit a limit. He's fucking. He got no chains. There's no chains on him now. He can't. You can't. Presumably, he cannot die.
I love the helmet. How it's like a matte finish opposed.
Oh yeah, the matte finish
opposed to all the shiny shit.
Bandai, please come out with a model kit. Come out the figurized model kit of that. Please, I will make that. I will. Please, I beg you.
You will lick it.
I will. You think I'm joking?
He will eat it up.
I already touch action figures with my mouth to begin with because I need to like flip out their hands or something. Because
you don't want to know what this boy.
I already have no nails, so sometimes when a figure's like arms or something aren't folding, I have to click it open with my mouth. Yeah. So that's not far from what I already do.
Yeah, it's not far.
You know, I'm getting into modeling, so I can fucking do that boy. Yeah. And he's got all the little wash details on his suit. Mm-hmm. Give me a model kit of that boy. Give me him.
You know what? When I'm just putting in the writer. His suit kind of gave me like an Orphanok feel.
You're right. It's got that kind of, obviously the monotone kind of, the single color kind of design to it.
But just like the wash on it, I felt like.
Yeah, they don't do that enough. I would like more riders with wash detail.
Yeah.
The little spine on his back and everything.
I was like,
ooh,
he's like a little mutant, this little boy.
Yeah, so, and I like his belt even more because it's tiny. It's not a big old chunky belt where it feels like if he leans in where he'll stab himself.
I need that. I need that Bugster thing.
The bug visor, yeah, that's and just like the sound effect it makes when it's on standby.
These are the best like belt noises. I
like anything that sounds glitchy. So like the way the Bugster sounds. Ooh.
Oh, this is just us.
There's just two man children like gurgling and going inwards, like leaning back.
If you're listening to this, you just hear two kids like just
two grown men going.
God, I need this
children's toy.
I
need this edgy zombie children's toy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Drive with Machine Chaser. Like, I love that. I love fucking raspy, gross sounding.
This is Machine. Like, I get what you mean, but I didn't even like Machine Chaser as much as this. Like, that was like, okay, I get it.
I just like his weapon because it's a Bop It gun.
Yeah.
It's a Bop It gun knuckle duster. Like, and when you press it, it goes gun. It just says gun, and I love that. And then with Lupin, the movie rider, he has the same thing, but it's all fancy, so it goes gun. Parade. I love that.
Good.
So,
good.
What do you think about that Nico Saiga? I think her name is Nico Saiba. What do you think about her?
Oh, who is that? Who is she?
We have no clue, but like, what do you think? Do you think she's a Bugster? Do you think maybe, what if she takes Laser's mantle?
Oh. I would like a female gamer rider.
That would be very cool. I would love her to. I mean, it's not like the suit is particularly. It's not like Laser is particularly gendered in any way, so it wouldn't be that big.
I would want her to have her own.
I would prefer her to have her own, but budgetarily, like, would you? I don't know. They've done it before, obviously, but and I would love her to get her own thing. But that'd be very cool.
We just don't know who she is.
We still have no clue who she is. She's got that fucking. She's got
that millennial gamer swag. You know what I mean?
Fucking millennials these days, you know.
They
fucking walk in. They're so preoccupied with their belts.
Yeah.
They walk in and they say, Wendy's made a funny tweet today. Today I will eat at Wendy. And then they go to Wendy's and they plop up their belt and they start fucking it right then and there in front of other people. So inconsiderate.
As you do.
As they do. Why do you say that so much?
I don't say that much.
You say that all the time. Like you do. As you do.
What
is that like? Oh, you're maturing. You're getting better. Like you do. Now you're like, as you do. And then like a month or so, like that's what happens every year. You would say like you do in 2016, 2017, as you do. 2018 is gonna be like as you wish, and you're gonna have like a fucking.
That's not what's gonna.
You're gonna have a fucking English brogue to your speech.
I'll tell you right now, it's not gonna happen.
You're never going to find out. I've observed your life, as these people have not. They're getting a snippet of your life, snippet of you scratching your hair, getting dandruff everywhere like a filthy child.
I'm a filth boy.
Okay. Well, all the same, what were we talking about?
You were talking about getting Wendy's dangling belts and beating them.
Yeah. Anyways, millennials. Fucking millennials. With their belt fucking and they're injecting themselves with pause viruses and turning into skeleton men. killing handsome boys in Hawaiian shirts. So, yeah, no, I hope she becomes a rider. That'd be very cool. We haven't seen much in the toy catalog in the way of suggesting there's the only other rider we're going to show up, and
maybe they'll surprise you.
That may very well be, but there's some evidence suggesting it's someone who's already present in the story. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Mighty Brothers looked really cool. I like the fucking slicked. It reminds me of
What?
Kira from JoJo.
Oh,
Remember when he got the upgrade and he starts slicking back, and there's one side of it that's spiky? That's what the suit looks like. Yeah. He's got one slicked back side of his hair. And
reminds me of Kirby.
In what way?
I don't know the clown. What's that form called? The one with the eyeball. It's totally irrelevant. It just reminds me of something from Kirby. It also reminds me of this is really specific. There's a game for the GameCube called Gotcha Force, and in it there's a double ninja, and it's a two-tone thing, and the power of that is to split into two. It's the exact same thing.
I like that. So, I like how he has he's got the fucking hang off on his shoulder and everything. And
I like that it's like a complete shift and not an addition. You know what I mean? It's it changed.
It's not modular. It's not modular. It's not something you just tack on. Yeah, is that do you prefer that?
I prefer that.
So, like with Gaim, you're not a fan of the Gaim's gimmick, where it's just modular? Whereas, well, to be fair, with Gaim, when they're not wearing their armor, it's incomplete. Like, it has to have an armor on it. Whereas with X-Aid, it's fine whether or not you put the armor on it or not.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I like them both, so...
I like it if it works. If it doesn't work, I hate it. Like the bike thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that X-Aid's got that, so... And you're still not a fan of it? It's marginally better, I'm sure.
It's marginally better.
Marginally better. The colors are still kind of off. Yeah, so we're probably not going to be seeing that for a while now. So I have a feeling that was I have a feeling that him using that was the showrunners were like, hey, what if we threw this extra thing in? Kind of like they did with Gaim, where they would have him wear extra armors when he was clearly not supposed to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, Saiba Nico, she could be very interesting. What if she turns out to be fucking because I'm just thinking about it, what if she turns out to be fucking Taiga's sister or some shit? I'm just reaching for straws here, but that could totally be a valid story arc leading to him becoming a good guy. I actually have a sister, and they totally have not expounded upon it. It could totally be a thing, and he somehow doesn't remember. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to elaborate in my head, speculate in my head how they could end up turning Taiga into a good guy, which I don't want them to. I want him to die. I want him to get his shit kicked. I want him to take the fucking shit ticket and go to hell.
We'll see. It's really hard to tell right now.
Oh, sure. This is just speculation at this point. Yeah. So, beyond Millennials, is there anything else you're kind of wondering about in regards to the show?
No, it was good. 2 episodes. Check them out. Watch the show.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting to the point. I mean, with Ghost, it took a while for me to kind of kick into gear, and it was around a few episodes from now that I started finally kind of getting into Ghost. Whereas with this, I've been kind of pretty consistently invested, and it's only just getting better. Whereas with Ghost, it kind of climbed over a cliff and I'm alive, and then it kind of fell off the cliff again after a while. So.
Check them out. Watch it.
Check them out. Check out.
It's getting really good now. So
yeah, now's the time if you want to. Well, we kind of already just explained it.
Yeah,
the whole story.
But even if you don't,
it's still pretty good. Still worth checking out. But yeah,
that's about it for that.
So I guess that's about it. So we have a blog at bugboyspodcast.tumblr.com. Send us a question and we will attempt to answer them next episode. We are thinking of branching out and trying to do other stuff beyond just talking about bugs, so we might try to do one-off things where we talk about other stuff, so look forward to that. We don't know yet.
Bugboys Worldwide.
Bugboys Worldwide, Bugboys
Incorporated.
Bugboys Tan Shift. Stuff like that. It's like anime naming upgrades.
You can only get so far.
Bugboys Astray, Bugboys Rising, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Bugboys
Extreme.
Schumannkranz or something German.
Yeah.
So send us a question. Send us a click. Send us a question. Ask us about our personal lives. Don't actually do that.
Don't mention anything.
Don't mention anything. If you're a millennial, you can fuck right off.
Don't personally.
How about that?
Don't acknowledge.
Fuck you, millennials. Here's fuck this for your safe spaces. It's a gun.
That you're a millennial.
No, that's not true. Oh!
Love
Epic!